Hi there, hi everybody.
Hi
Hi
Romit,
Ryan, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Good evening. How are you doing?
All good, Ryan, all good. Fantastic, fantastic. Good to have you here today.
I've got so many notes for you today.
Super, fantastic. I think this is an exhaustive topic, and it's great to have you on board because lots of my students have already benefited. So I'll just go on with that in about 3 minutes when we start, when everybody comes in. I think we'll just
Perfect.
wait
Thank you
about.
for having me. Thank you for
Sure,
having me.
sure, buddy. I hope everything is all right under control and everybody's eating right in this lockdown period in their houses, especially the
You
small
know, I
time
tell
kids.
everyone, yeah, I tell everyone you need to wear your mask at home also so that you don't
Right.
put too much food in your mouth.
Good one.
So one is prevents the virus and then it prevents the leaves. You know, my kitchen is just around the corner. Normally in our offices, when you and I are working, we don't have access or smell food when it's being prepared, right? So now I'm
Right.
working at home. I'm doing a live with you. So dinner's being prepared. I can smell it. So I'm like, get me some papad, get me some, chaat, get me some modi. And I am a nutritionist, but I'm also a human being first. And
Absolutely.
I can empathize with everybody that at the end of the evening I want to have a single malt. I don't drink a single malt normally always, but now suddenly I'm in this lockdown. I'm like, you know what? I think I need a single malt today, and it's crazy because I think athletes are going through this. Common people like you and me who are not in the athlete, but we were former athletes. Like, wow, okay, what's happening to us? And I think a lot of it is to do with our late night sleep and our anxiety. So, and
Right.
that sort of thing, just being cooped up. So you need something to chill out or relax you. And man today has said food is a chill out zone. So if you see all athletes, they train really hard. And then they say, I want to eat what I want. Don't tell me to eat disciplined. I'll
Right.
train
Right.
discipline, but I won't eat discipline. Now, when we shift into a lockdown period, the training's gone out of the window. So, can the athlete be disciplined enough to say that I'll eat my breakfast, lunch, and dinner in a portion control so I don't put on weight? Because, Romit, when we are training in golf, let's say for 5, 6 hours a day, 2 hours
Right.
in the morning, 2 hours
Right.
in the morning, maybe midday fitness training, then in evening about 3, 4 hours on the golf course. We're putting in 5 hours as a professional golfer. As a recreational golfer, even an 18 hole is 5 hours.
Right.
So
Right.
what's happening is we're putting a lot of focus in training period, but in the lockdown period, that's down to almost zero. Like people are saying, I do 1 hour workout. Like the athlete's body is like doing like that yawning, no, when you end up doing your home workout.
Right.
So as a result, the athlete's appetite has not gotten downgraded. The athlete's calories has gone downgraded. So when
Right.
the athlete's calories has gotten downgraded, they are not making an adjustment in the head of how much they should eat. They're eating normally. So food is served out of love and culture.
Correct.
You see, your mom, your dad, your wife, your spouse, or whoever cooks the food is putting that on your plate. Like I had a good joke today. So I asked my help at home. I said, give me one glass katori of rice, give me one glass katori of the non-veg, and give me two katoris of the sabzi. So I think all my wife was busy on a call. All these days, my wife, I would tell her what portion I want. And so at home, we have these small glass bowls, and I decide based on the glass bowl. So
Yes.
my servant didn't realize that that has to be put into my plate. So when lunch came, there were five katoris on my table, but no plate. So I was like, what happened? No, sir, you told glass katori. I brought one. You told glass katori. I said, no, no, I meant you take a portion and put it on my plate. So that was very interesting that I want to communicate this to everyone that I'm saying this to people, have a katori of rice. But what that means is measure that portion and then put it in your plate. First thing. Second, don't have food served at the table. Traditionally in India, those of us who come from affluent families, and golf is an affluent sport, so you'll have your food served at the table. Now, what happens is I'm watching TV, I'm reading a book, I'm on my phone, I'm eating mindlessly, right? I'm distracted. So my feeling of eating and brain saying satiety's fullness is missed because in between there's a Netflix, in between there's a piece of paper, there's a phone, it's a distraction. So I tell a lot of people nowadays don't eat food from the dining table. Have your plate served and don't take anything more than that in the lockdown. That's a clear way to do a diet in the lockdown. So you're not taking more portion. In fact, you're doing less portion. Third thing, I never recommend intermittent fasting to golfers. But in this lockdown period, I would ask all the golfers to do an intermittent fasting. What is intermittent fasting? Well, you have your dinner by 7 o'clock in the evening and don't eat anything till next day about 12 o'clock noon. If you feel hungry, you can have green tea, you can have BCAA, branch chain amino acid supplement, or just drink plain amino acid supplement, or just drink plain water or have cucumber. Otherwise, you fast and you'll be surprised in 3 or 4 days, you won't feel like eating. So this is something that, people can do, which is intermittent fasting. So what happens is you reduce the portion, then you reduce the timing of the number of meals that you eat. And so we have a calorie deficiency, and hopefully people will not put on weight in this lockdown period.
Right. That's interesting. That's a very interesting angle that you've taken out, because that's very important, because in this lockdown, we've just, as you said, we need a mask to cover our faces because we've been eating so much inside the houses. Yeah, so good,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I've been eating. I've got my muruku over here, which is my tea snack right now. So 5 o'clock is my tea snack. And I said, like, I can go through 5 murukus easily, And I told my wife, just give me one. So now this one that is there, I'm like, I'm very tempted. I want to reach out to it. I want to munch on it and eat and talk to you and stuff like that. But it's human nature. And think about it, no, Romit. Let's imagine you and I lived 10,000 years ago. Forget 10,000. Let's say we lived 500 years ago. There was no Zomato. There was no Swiggy. There was no kitchen with shelves where you could go and look at it. There was no fridge where you could open and check what can I eat. So this constant bathing of the senses from Zomato, from Swiggy, from supermarkets that give you fresh produce, from the fridge. We are in a lockdown. We are in the cushest lockdown in the history of mankind. I mean, imagine if you were in lockdown 500 years ago. We don't have no Zomato, Swiggy, government making arrangement for fresh produce to come to your neighborhood store. You and I had to get our hunting gear together, get out in the field, and the government at that time, the king had said, lockdown. If the king saw you, he'd kill you. Right? So it's very funny times that we live in, and I think we are making a big deal of being locked down. We have our food and we have food in excess. So I'm asking people, can you get spiritual about it? Can you get sports specific about it? Can you be disciplined about it and go portion control, timing control, and then maybe do your little bit of physical activity?
Right. Those are good points, actually. Those are very good points, very interesting points that you brought up today. The portion control, the timings of when you can eat and when you should eat. So these are the other kinds of discipline we need to get into our system right now, because we're really not influenced by our life and our work and our meetings anymore at the moment. So we can actually control our lives to the best extent or the best way possible that we can do. And this is the perfect time to actually practice that kind of self-discipline.
When I'm working with people like Shubhankar, Viraj Madappa, working with Trishul Chinnappa, and a host of so many other. I'm working with Sharmila, Nicolette, the female golfers, and the other. I'm working with all of these guys. There are two parts to a person's life. There is the Viraj, the normal guy, and then there's the Viraj, the golfer. There's a Trishul, the normal guy, and then Trishul, the golfer. What every golfer needs to understand is, in golfing, there's specific nutrition. And as an Aam Aadmi or as a normal person, there's a nutrition for your health and daily well-being. Now, when you take both of these together, athletes forget to do daily well-being and athletes forget to do the sports nutrition specific golf. Let me give you an example. Let's say I take somebody like Shubhankar. Shubhankar is a pure vegetarian, right? Now, as a pure vegetarian, I need to give him, as an Aam Aadmi, I need to give him protein to meet his daily requirement. Now, if he was a college-going student, not doing workouts, not doing being on the road and playing golf back to back, sometimes like 38, 40 weeks in a year. Last year, I think he had a crazy year. But what I'm trying to communicate is that if I don't give him the protein correctly, as a health perspective, Aam Aadmi perspective, he's not meeting the cut. Right. Now, then you get the sports nutrition part, which is, Arayan, I want to go to the gym. I want to lose some fat. I don't want to put on weight. I went on tour for 4 months. I had to eat hotel food. Now I put on body fat percentage. Well, hang on. If you put on body fat percentage, now, Romit, you're a golfing guy. If you have a little more fat around your torso and midriff, will that slow down the torque generated when you want to drive the ball? Yes or no? It
Of
will.
course, it will. Yeah.
Because obviously it's real estate. Real estate is bone, muscle, fat. Now, as a golfer, you can't change the real estate of bone, but the real
I
estate
lost you a bit
area
there.
of muscle. Sorry, I'll repeat. The real estate changes on the trunk area. For example, you have bone, you have muscle, and you have fat. You want your fat real
Right.
estate to be low. You want your muscle real estate to be solid. But in a period when, let's say, a person like Shubhankar travels a lot, can't focus on diet, is not got good sports nutrition, his nutritionist is not giving him the correct nutrition plan, so he can call up the front desk and say, I need this food, I need amount of protein, I need amount this sort of carbs, then his fat percentage starts climbing. So when you look at these two parts of the golfer normal person and the golfer with sports nutrition, both of these are required on a daily basis for normal functioning and getting performance out of the body. So, when Tiger Woods really helped me in the last 10 years get to the next level of providing nutrition to a lot of golfing guys, when I work with people, when I'm in golfing academies and stuff like that. The one question parents ask me is, why should we do nutrition? Why should we do nutrition? So I'm like, okay, you sleep once a day, maybe twice a day. You go and take a dump once a day, twice a day, that's 40, once a day, twice a day. You train physical fitness, maybe dumbbells, gym and all once a day. You go and play golf maybe once, twice a day, morning, evening. You have a shower maybe once, twice a day. If you don't do that, you're stinky. But eating. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe almost 7 times. It is the most important function. And we learn to eat out of love and culture. And your golf is not love and culture. Your golf is a scientific game. Now, people say to me, especially veterans like us, I'm 45, when we are the older generation, we say, oh, but we did golf without all of this stuff. But the world is changing. The world is changing in terms of the competitive spirit. The world is changing in terms of the period by which the children are getting to become really good. So maybe 20 years ago, a kid was not good till the age of 18, 19. Today, I have Aryaman Singh, a prodigy from Pune, and that kid at 13 years old is already like, wow. So what I'm saying to parents is that if these kids are accelerating in their golf, could it be that between the ages of 8 and 15, you're pushing your child to do golf. You're making him train 5 hours a day or 4 hours a day. Wherein that child, if was not playing 4 hours a day, would be at home on the computer, talking on their phone or watching TV or doing the homework. Their metabolism would be so low that I'd be giving enough of nutrition to take care of growth and development and brain performance. But now you've put 5 hours of golf and your eating is dal, chawal, roti, normal of love and culture. No sports nutrition, no scientific specificity. Imagine my son is 7 years old, Romit, and I buy a golf set and I say, beta, start playing golf. You
Where you said my son is 7-year-old. Hello?
videos.
Hi. Sorry, Ryan, I lost you where you said your son is 7 years old and then it got lost the voice a bit.
Yeah. So my son is 7 years of my son is 7 years of age, and let's say I bought him a golf set, and I said no need of having any coaching classes and all. We'll watch some YouTube videos and let's wing it. Now, where do we expect that child to be 3 years after trying to learn golf on his own? The same is happening with nutrition. Now, people say, Ryan sir, send me a diet. This is one thing that I get very irritated. And to be honest with you, Roman, I've done about nearly 30, 40 sessions in the last 3, 4 weeks. Every parent messages me, sir, please send me a diet plan for my kid. Now, here's the problem. I don't know the height of your kid. I don't know the gender of your kid. I don't know the blood group of your kid. I don't know the vitamin B12, vitamin D levels. You've not done a blood test. I maybe don't know the genetic profiling of your vitamins and minerals and gluten and lactose blood test. I don't have any of this. So people say, can you give me a general diet chart? Romy, do you give free classes?
No. No.
I don't understand why people
unless you can't afford it, yeah.
Same with me. I work with Paralympians. I work with needy children. And here's the fact of the matter, okay? people need to understand you don't service your own phone, you don't service your own car. I am trying to make a point because I am a professional nutritionist that there is something called a nutritionist. This person understands food, nutrition, supplementation, growth deficiencies, and this person is supposed to look at your kid and figure it out how to do it. So why do you think Shubhankar and Trishul and Viraj Madappa all come to me? Because they've realized if they don't do this, their body is going to break. Break how?
Right.
It can get injured, it can get tired. My thought process is to the golfer that's out there and working, you need a nutritionist like you need your caddy. You can carry your own golf clubs. There are devices today which you can have the golf cart and you don't even need somebody to tell you. But why does the sport develop that skill set? Because two minds are better than one. Why do you need a golf coach? Why do you need a strength and conditioning coach for your muscles, for your fitness? Why are we encouraging children to develop the correct muscles? Because if you train in golf, you develop only certain sets of muscles, but your what we call as your muscles for your posture and other things could get compromised if you don't focus on posture development. So similarly for nutrition, about all of these things and how it works. Somebody just said that, well, you need to educate people on how nutrition works. So nutrition works like this. You eat food, it digests, and then you poop it. Now, the question is, what do you need to eat? When do you need to eat? And how much do you need to eat? So let me give an example. For breakfast, I will say, Romit, you need to eat 25 grams of carbohydrate and 30 grams of protein and 5 grams of fat. That's how a nutritionist sees it. Then I find the food or combination of food in a recipe that will give you that. Now I know a mother over there say, can you tell me what I should give my child? What I give a 7-year-old and what I give a 12-year-old is completely different. Two reasons. The 7-year-old and the 12-year-old, if it's a male child, the male child at 12 is now in the growth spurt phase closing into puberty. The calorie and the protein requirement are a little higher. So this suddenly changes. So actually what happens is, whenever I do these seminars, I'm like, oh, wow, let's do foods that boost immunity. Amla, garlic, turmeric, oranges, guava. Even my mom can give you this advice and she's not a nutritionist.
Right.
What we are talking about is not general naam ke vaste advice. The other day, who was it? I don't remember, but somebody was tweaking their driver for an inch because they grew taller. So here's the thing. Yeah, so here's the thing, right? Your focus is so dedicated towards the clubs and the drivers and the equipment that you have. So accurate, angles, wedges, the titanium, blah, 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 everything, all of that. So there's so much of science. But dal, chawal, roti is still considered by everyone basic. So what I tell people is, let me ask my first question so that we can give out our book. Okay. There is a vegetable. Okay, so this is for everyone who's not known about it. I am giving away via Mr. Romit my book called The Eating Secrets of Champions. This is a colorful book which I wrote about for people who want to know more about how a champion is made. So I wrote my experiences over 10 years. I made it very colorful because athletes have very little attention span when it comes to books. They don't like to read.
Absolutely. Correct.
And you can pick up any page and it's readable by a 10-year-old and it's readable by a 50-year-old also. So I made it very, very colorful, very, very catching, very, very eye-hitting in terms of what are the correct actions take. I'm giving this book away free in a question right now. So one of the 75 out there can get this book free. We're going to be giving 5 books out today. So the question is, there is a vegetable. It is red in color. It does vasodilation. It expands the blood vessels. And if you've been in another one of my seminars, please don't answer the question before I finish it. So this vegetable does vasodilation, has very high nitrate content, and is super good for athletes. What is this red color vegetable? The first person that answers gets this. So Romit, you need to track your screen and so maybe later on see, we have Parekh. Okay, so even I got Parekh. I says beetroot and Sushil Parekh is absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. And okay, so that's the first question. Let's get a second question because everyone's in the mood right now. We've got Janvi, correct. Uh, beetroot, absolutely correct. Do you know beetroot is the most widely studied vegetable in sports science? It has the maximum number of studies done on it because it releases nitrates which dilate your blood vessels. Now, how will beetroot help a golfer? You know, when you're on the last hole, 18th hole, 2 strokes away, you've walked the whole day. Your blood vessels are pumping. The heart is pulsating the blood vessel. Now let's say if you're a person who consumes beetroot helps in the vasodilation. It expands. It keeps the blood vessel elastic. So it's able to remove lactic acid, deliver more oxygen. So by just having beetroot in your diet, research has shown it reduces exercise exhaustion by up to 9%. It reduces exercise exhaustion by 9%. Now, Roman, it's not like this. Tomorrow you have a tee off. Tomorrow Sunday you're having a tee off. You're going to do a beetroot juice in the morning and you're going to get 9%. And no, it takes about 6 weeks to build in your body. Don't be scared if you pee red color because the pigment sometimes passes through your urine. And sometimes even your potty turns a nice rust red color. So don't worry about it. So potty and pee, if it's red, you're like thumbs up, your beetroot is in. 1 in 30 people might have a beetroot allergy or get a cold. So don't take beetroot just because I'm saying about it. Second question. Is everyone ready for the second question? Please type up yes. Let's see your trigger fingers. How fast are you? Are you ready for the next question? Type up yes. Let's see who's the first person who says yes. Okay, people are a little slow. My connection's a little slow. Okay, anyway. Are you got any yeses so far, Romit?
Siddharth call, yeah. I got Siddharth.
Siddharth, yes. So Siddharth is fast. Okay, everyone's thumbs up, yes. The next question. Which is the vegetable?
Ask the next question. We're going to ask the next question.
Which is the next? Yeses. Okay, so I think what happens is there's a slight delay. So when you type yes, it goes to Instagram, then Instagram sends it. Which is the vegetable that is even more powerful than beetroot in terms of giving you nitrates? Which is the vegetable which is even more powerful than giving you nitrates? And I'll give you a tip. It starts with the letter R. And it has a second name which starts with the letter A. So both of us are Ryan and Romit. So I chose one vegetable which starts with R, and it's one of the most powerful.
Radish.
Not radish, Parek. No. Not radish. Not radish. Not avocado. Not avocado. Not radish. Come on, guys. You've got Google. You can Google it up quickly. Which vegetable has the highest nitrate content, which is even higher than beetroot?
And it's not radish.
Everyone's saying radish. It's not radish. It's not radish. It's not radish. And this will help every golfer. You can put this leaf. I'm giving you another clue. You can put this leaf in your dal. You can put this leaf in your dal. It's got the name with R, and its scientific name starts with A. Rosemary, not really, Uday. Turnips, no, turnips is not A or R. Broccoli, come on, guys. Yes, Pritless, rocket, that's right. That's right, rocket leaves, rocket leaves.
One sec. Did we miss a rocket before? There's Abhiroop 007, rocket vegetable, which came up.
So what do you do? What we'll do, Romit, whilst we'll figure out this, maybe after you finish the session, you could go through the comments and you decide who's got the first comment that came into your box, because Instagram has a timeline of comments, and you decide who wins the second copy of the book. So just keep that down. The first question was who said beetroot first and who said rocket leaves first. Okay, yeah, so rocket leaves.
So this was Abhiroop 007. He said rocket first. Yeah.
First.
Abhiroop
okay,
007.
So everyone, rocket leaves is, and this is really going to help you that if you can source rocket. In fact, I'm growing rocket leaves in my own garden. You get the seeds on Amazon. So when the lockdown lifts up, search for arugula leaves or rocket leaves, buy the seeds, put it in a tray. It grows like palak. Pretty nice tasting. You can eat it raw also, and put it in your diet on regular basis. And you know, you can do the needful. Okay. Questions, Romit? Do you have questions, or do the listeners out there have any questions?
Yeah, one sec. They had something in the beginning. I'll just come back to it.
Okay, while you're getting the question ready, I like to talk to everyone about going to sleep late. So this is something, it's slightly ulta, but over here, if you see, in the morning, there's a cortisol spike which goes up and then comes down. However, when you go to sleep late, this cortisol spike comes in the afternoon. Now, who is cortisol? Cortisol is the fat storage hormone. So all the athletes who are Netflixing, all the athletes who are going to sleep late are actually doing harm to their body, because most of us golfers get up early morning to head to the greens. We're training in the morning before we go to school and then get off to school. But everyone's at the golf course by 5:36 in the morning. So the point is, now with this lockdown, everyone's getting up at 11 o'clock in the morning. That's really affecting your fat storage. So there's one thing that people are doing. People say, no, sir, but this is lockdown. Can we watch TV? Yes, please watch TV. Please do your video games. But you can put it on pause and go to sleep on time and get up at 6 a.m. in the morning and play video games or watch Netflix. But don't change your biological clock. Don't change your circadian rhythm. It's very, very important that you keep to time. This is very, very important. I can't stress on the need. So, Romit, that was one point that I wanted to make, that sleep early.
Perfect. What is the way to get your body, bone, muscle, and fat checked?
Okay, good question. So in my clinics, the name of my clinics are called Qua Nutrition. I can give every one of Romit's followers or students a complimentary pass to come to our clinic and get an assessment done where they stand on a specialized weighing scale, which will measure water, which will measure bone, and will measure fat percentage. The bone mass we measure only in my Bangalore clinics. The bone mass we don't do in the other clinics across India. We do the water and the muscle and the fat. But if you can't do that, you can find a place that does the DXA scan. It's a big, huge, like tunnel kind of X-ray machine. You lie down on it. It's about 4,000 or 5,000 rupees, and this nice ring goes over your brrr, and then it measures your bone density, visceral fat, and that's like the gold standard. Like, what's the best driver in the world in terms of a golf?
Let's say TaylorMade, Callaway, one of those big ones.
So TaylorMade, Callaway. So the DEXA scan is your tailor-made fat percentage guy. So that's the best one. And that's available in most diagnostic labs across India once the lockdown comes in. So when people have this, it's a great thing to have bone, muscle, and fat. So let's say I am Trishul Chinnappa at the age of 19. So I do my bone, I do my muscle, I do my fat. At the age of 20, I check it again. At 21, I check it again. So, sorry, that was a mosquito irritating me. So, what if my muscle is going up and my fat is coming down? Romit, if a golfer gets increased muscle and lesser fat, to you as a golf coach, as a golf specialist, is that a good thing or that's a bad thing?
I guess it has to be right balance. It can't be either ways, I guess.
Correct. But let me share one secret with you. Most of us Indian have a higher fat percentage, and which is why we don't get a power. And what I mean by higher fat percentage, we are in the high 30s or above 25. A good golfer should have about a 20% body fat in a male and 20 to 25% in a female. These are standards that, you're buying the best of equipment, but you're not looking at a standard. So whoever asked this question, really great question.
Okay, the next one which comes up is a nutrition for 10-year-old boy. I think you've kind of mentioned this or touched upon it. Or there should be what is the diet of a 13-year-old golfer?
So here's the thing. If I say the diet of a 13-year-old, then I have to give the diet of every age group, then I have to do it for males and females.
Right.
There is to first understand, the word nutrition or diet for an athlete is a balanced diet. So the first tips that I would give you generally is know the calories of the kid. How many calories is the kid required to survive? We call it as the RMR, resting metabolism rate. Then you need to know the activity factor. How much are you spending? It's like a car. You have a car, if it's idling, how much petrol you put into it. If you're driving it around town, how much petrol do you need to do it? You need to know the mileage of your car. Similarly, you need to know the mileage of your human body. That's what a nutritionist does. Finds the mileage and then tells you how much to eat. Then how much to eat is broken up into 3, 4, 5, 6 meals a day. And then we break up that carbohydrate, protein, and fat. So for example, I want to give you 20 grams of protein in the morning. Maybe I'll give you one egg. One egg is 6 grams of protein. So I need another 14 grams of protein. So maybe I do some idli and sambar, or I do a paratha. That would give me another 8 grams of protein. So I'm 8 plus 6, 14. I still need another 6 grams of protein. So maybe I do a glass of milk with some ragi malt in it, or I'll do some porridge in it or some oats and I'll get. So this is how a nutritionist would work to figure out breakfast. Now let me figure out breakfast for Monday, then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Every day I can't give you the same meal, so I've got to change it up for breakfast. Likewise lunch, likewise dinner. And that's what we do. So my nutrition plans are 22 pages long. They're 22 pages long because there's when you wake up, what do you need to eat? There's breakfast. Then there is a pre-tee off snack. During the first 9 holes, what is snack 1, snack 2, snack 3? Once you come back, what is lunch? So for me, even 5 pistas is a snack. But I try and give that to the player so that his brain, which is trying to work for 4 to 5 hours, think about you and me sitting in an office over 4 hours, we will have some water or we will eat something small in between. Imagine the children, imagine the players playing for 4 hours without putting some fuel into them. So people come to me and say, hey, Ryan, let's do intermittent fasting. We can fast, we can survive. Not in sports nutrition. If you want the brain to work, if you want to be sharp here, you need to give glucose to the brain, which comes in the form of small mini meals. So that's the better option, especially with growing children, especially with competitive golfers. If you're plus 35, plus 40 and watching this program, you can do intermittent fasting as a senior citizen above 30. That's where you do your intermittent fasting. Somebody just asked at what age should kids start working on a nutrition plan versus good Ghar Ka Khana, which some trainers advise. Here's the thing. The nutrition plan is Ghar Ka Khana. But I take your Ghar Ka Khana and I put it on a scientific scale. Ki kitna dal khane ka hai, kitna rice khane ka hai. And then I educate your child. I talk to your child. I coach your child. See, beta, in the morning when you get up, why don't you have tomato juice? Because Uncle Ryan is saying that tomato juice has lycopene in it. And lycopene has been known in one research paper, which Uncle Ryan read 20 years ago, to help improve growth spurt. So what Uncle Ryan will do is put glutamine, 5 grams of glutamine and lycopene of tomato juice for your child early morning to drink. Now every parent is noting this down because everyone's very conjuicy, they want free advice. So they have noted down, they're going to start giving it to their kids. But hang on. What if your child doesn't like tomato juice early morning? What are you going to do? Well, did you know that lycopene is found in tomato sauce? And parents stop their children from eating tomato sauce. Oh, Ryan, sir, tomato sauce has preservatives. So does chips. So does all the outside food that we eat at KFC and McDonald's. So I would tell a parent, if the child doesn't have tomato juice, we do 1 month with tomato sauce. And then you make the tomato sauce at home because I'll send you the recipe. And if you don't have the patience to make it at home, then let me coach your child to understanding that they don't eat with their taste buds, they eat with their brains. And by the way, Romit, the current generation of children are extremely, extremely smart. I talk to 6-year-olds, 8-year-olds, and 10-year-olds who come for nutrition counseling with me. It's not a diet. It's teaching them what's best for their body. And you'll be amazed that these children hassle their parents because their parents are not eating correctly. Because with 1 year or 2 years with me, the kids are going back and telling the parents, why are you eating so much of fats in your diet? Ryan said you should be doing this, this, this. So parents are getting gobsmacked because now the kid, after 1 year of nutrition coaching, is really, doing the needful in terms of educating the kid how to eat correctly. And parents between the ages of 6 and 15 is actually perfect. The younger, better. Like, for example, Viraj came to me as a youngster, 20 plus, right? It's very difficult to get into his head and change his beliefs and his taste buds and his pattern of eating as well as his parents. But if Viraj came to me at 8 years of age, he would be able to be impressionable, or I would be able to convince him how to frame his palate for eating. So that's how it works.
Super. I think that's a great point. So the younger the kids get into the system, the better it is for him to accept these things later in life.
I would agree with you. And, sometimes people say to us on the sideline, people will shoot questions. Yeah, but because you're a nutritionist, you want business, you want people to come. Let me give you a simple example. Let's start golf for all kids at 18 years of age. Why are we starting when they are 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? Why? Why do you want to teach a child golf so early? Let them become an adult. Golf is an adult sport. They're anyway going to go pro at around 21 or so, maybe earlier if they're talented. So why are we starting so young? Because we believe the children should play. Now, if they're going to play, they're going to get professional in their playing. If they're going to get professional in playing, it's 2, 3, 4, 5 hours. They need the nutrition. What are you doing about that? So I tell people that don't miss the putt. Don't miss the putt. It's very important to understand that nutrition is an exhaustive science, very exhaustive science, and there's a lot of stuff that you can do. People are asking where can you get my book to buy? It's available on my website ryanfernando.in. I'm an Indian, so .in ryanfernando.in. And what is the cost for a nutrition plan? Well, you could go to the same website, ryanfernando.in, and you could just type up what is your requirement, and my team will get in touch with you. But to give you a general idea, we start with a 3-month sports nutrition plan, and that's 16,500. That's not with me. I don't do a 3-month plan. I only work with the elite athletes. I work on a 1-year plan or I work on a 6-month plan. And the 1-year plan is 1.5 lakh rupees for the full year, where I'm constantly coaching the athlete through the year. So that's the question that Arvind was asking. So I wanted to give that across. Okay, any other questions?
Well, there was small questions is what program for kids, and is RDA the net of intake of energy, etc., and energy spent, or the intake is to be equal to the energy spent?
A good question. Very good question. Arvind, it's like this. RDA is recommended dietary allowance. The dietary allowance is created by a council. A council normally in India is the ICMR with the Indian Dietetic Association and the National Institute of Nutrition. So they decide that a 6-year-old male gender of approximately weight category of this to this will require this recommended dietary allowance of calories, protein, carbs, fats, all the vitamins, all the minerals. So each vitamin, like magnesium, should be so much in terms of how much your body needs to survive. So this has been done over years of statistical analysis and research analysis. I believe that a lot of this data is not good enough for an Indian sports person. What's my logic? Most of the data is taken from rural India, not urban. Most of it is not taken from affluent class. Affluent classes eat a little better than rural where there's starvation and other things. So I believe that I've set my parameters on simple thing. I calculate the weight of an athlete. I assume the calories required by this athlete to survive. And then I work with a positive RDA. So if the Indian RDA says 100, I work at 110 RDA, just to be careful. Third, I back it up with blood test. So let's say your vitamin B12 is there. Vitamin B12 is recommended at 1 milligram per day. 1 milligram, 1000 micrograms, just 1 milligram a day. So let's say I do a blood test, Romit, on your kid, and your kid turns out vitamin B12 negative, and I match the RDA. So what's the problem? Either I'm not giving enough. So next month I bump it up, I test around 2 months later. It's still not gone up. Then I go back to my drawing board saying there is a problem in absorption of this vitamin, mineral or protein. So that's the function of how scientific we get in terms of the recommended dietary allowance. It's divided into your protein, your carb, your fat. So everyone has a mathematical number, much like your handicapped and your scorecard. So your handicapped is like, my gene not absorbing very well, so no matter how much of vitamin B12 you give me, I'm not going to absorb it. And how do I discover that? Well, I have a card, and that card is your blood test or a genetic test. So there's stuff like this that we do. What should juniors eat whilst playing at the course? Good question. They definitely need a water bottle. In today's day and age, I say Dadima's Nimbu Pani or coconut water are really good. Do you need a Gatorade? I would give a Gatorade. A lot of people say it's a lot of sugar. It is glucose. The human blood requires glucose for the brain and the muscles to fire. Their 6% to 8% glucose solution is the correct solution. Gatorade is in the 6 to 8% solution. So is Body Fuels Fast Charge. So is Isostar. So is Glucosate. People say the sugar is too much. I should take a Fasten Up Reload. A Fasten Up Reload is only an electrolyte solution which the older people can take, because I don't want older people to take glucose because I want them to burn fat. But youngsters, I don't want them to burn fat because they don't have much fat. But I want the glucose for the brain to work. So people ask me, can I eat a fruit? Yes, you can eat a fruit and have Nimbu Pani, but the fruit is fructose. So that fructose to convert to glucose is a little longer time. So what I tell people is that if it's now April, May, and you are playing in the hot summer of India, I would recommend a homemade sports drink, Dadima's Nimbu Pani or coconut water. I do not recommend juices because juices are fructose. They are higher than 10% sugar. So you should not have juices on the course, you will get a jump in your glucose level in the brain and then you'll get a crash. So you might get a kick up for one hole, but in the next hole you'll crash and you'll be physically present and mentally absent. So don't do high sugar or energy drinks like Red Bull and Monster drinks and all of these on the golf course. A lot of these teenagers do it. It's just fashion. If you ask me, it's the wrong thing. And they say, oh, Red Bull is sponsored so and so. I know I have the top elite athletes in the world with me. I am with them when that Red Bull jar is there. And do you know what's inside? The Ryan Fernando solution is inside. That's just for branding. It is just for branding. They will not drink Red Bull in a race. They will not do Red Bull in a tournament. I don't think Red Bull sponsors many golfers. I think golfers are very smart. They see through that. But the other things that you can do on the golf course is to carry foods that are non-sticky, because players have to hold the clubs and all. So I had this one nutritionist, a competitor nutritionist from Bombay. She was giving dry fruit laddu on the golf course. So I was like, that's dumb, because the moment the kid opens that up and eats it, okay, the hand's going to get sticky.
Hand is slippery.
Yeah, your hand gets sticky, and you're on the golf course, you know, it's irritating. You don't have a wash basin and stuff like that. So you want to be making bite-sized pieces of an energy bar, bite-sized pieces of that dry fruit laddu as a bite-sized bar of dry fruits. Or simple, just do a magic Ziploc bag, put a few almonds, pistas, and a date, open that, tuck, put the whole thing like a trail mix, and the player's good to go. You could do energy bar, which you could peel and open. A banana is good, but banana kind of, you have to take a bite, put it back in, figure it out that it doesn't get squashed along with your cloth and your golf ball. But these are things. You have to have water. Big mistake. Everybody, like idiots, uses mineral water bottles. It is BPA, it is plastic, it is in the sun. Forget minerals and all. The plastic sand goes in the water. You're drinking that. For the girl child, it's accelerating her puberty and making her lose height growth. Menstruation comes earlier. In the boy child, it's cancerous. Well, nobody's talking about this, but if my son was playing golf, he would drink from a stainless steel water bottle, because the stainless steel vacuum water bottle would maintain the temperature of the water, which I do is cold water and room temperature water, to give me a 17 degrees Celsius, 14 to 17 degrees Celsius, which is the correct temperature of hydration beverage, because the moment you put that in, this buccal cavity cools down, the blood circulates, your cool blood goes to your brain's like, I'm feeling alert, I'm feeling good. Then goes to your stomach, cools your core, then you're able to play that 18 holes without overheating, because the hotter your body temperature, the slower is your mental cognition and reflexes. This is what we learn in sports science. We do something known as rectal thermometer. We put a thermometer up your bum and you play a sport. And then we track your temperature through the entire game. Science has done this. And they see that those who are dehydrated, temperatures of core temperatures go up by 2 to 3 degrees, which causes the brain to lose cognition and mental performance. Wow. So, you know, these are small things that people could do. At the ninth hole, a lot of people eat a sandwich in clubhouses and all. Hey, that's great. That's good. You should eat enough such that you don't feel hungry, but you still should not eat too much such that you're feeling hungry. You should just be on the verge of hunger when you're playing golf. And then when you finish your 18 holes, you have your proper meal. And that's another question again. You know, you're on a foreign course, the clubhouse is away, the caterer's been provided, there's only pasta and there's some other crap that has been out in the sun for maybe the last 5 to 6 hours. You've got a food sensitivity that I've discovered. You can't eat that food. So you got to have logistics ready in terms of you pack your own stuff and, you know, you quickly get back to your hotel and you order what is the correct thing so that you behave like the Callaway. You know, if you're a piece of equipment and you're Callaway, you behave like how you should be fueling yourself, that the best possible way, rather than getting any junk.
Right. Is there a possible way to change genetics? Can we change our genetics?
So there are two things, okay? So I'll put my hand up over here, okay? This hand, in my hand, there's a Morocco over here, okay? And this is the chakli. And in this chakli, this is the environment, and the other hand is the genetics. So I want you to imagine this. We are born with our genetics. Genetics is the software code in the human body. Like your phone, my phone over here, the app is loaded of Instagram. If Instagram works well, the genetics of Instagram, good. The app inside of me for, let's say, speed. My genetics, my mother and father came together. My genetics is pretty good. But if I sit on the couch like Ryan Fernando the whole day, my genetics is not going to display itself. It's going to be very low. So when you take the environment and sit it on top of your genetics, you can influence your gene, but the base of the gene can never be changed. What do I mean by this? Let's say, Romit, you have a high absorption B12 and I have a low absorption B12. So in Romit, B12 comes from the environment, from his diet and food, boom, goes in. So Romit now is at 100% B12 absorption. Hang on. Let's say Romit is a lazy guy and doesn't like to eat and is a vegetarian because all veg food does not have B12 and therefore he's not giving any B12. Hang on, he's got 100% absorption gene, but there's no B12 come into his body. So he can fail. He can succeed, he can fail. Then you meet Ryan Fernando. Ryan Fernando has got 50% absorption of B12 as per his genetic. Ryan Fernando is very diligent and eats his B12 all the time, or Ryan Fernando doesn't have his B12. So you get different permutations and combination of your environment influencing or sitting on top of your gene. And that is where the sports nutritionist comes in, because what my job is to figure this out. Because if you're gluten allergic as per your gene, like Djokovic, he cannot take gluten. Gluten is found in wheat. Now, when you remove gluten from the diet, you are influencing your gene to behave in the best possible way. You're not changing your gene, but you're influencing. So genes right now cannot be changed, but I believe China is doing some shitload of crap stuff that is manipulating genes, and they will have super athletes in the future. So, it's like, what are we doing? Oh, we are discussing whether we need to take care of our dal chawal roti. Whereas people are light years ahead of us. I am very surprised sometimes, I get very angry with especially kids and Olympians and all who are going into the Olympics. Last Olympics, 130 athletes who could have done a nutrition plan. There was only one athlete who was on a nutrition plan. So it gives you a fact to tell you that whilst we are talking about infrastructure, coaching, X, Y, Z, and golf is an Olympic sport. In the last Olympics, I went to the athletes and says, do you need me to help you out? There was no response. The point I'm trying to make is that whilst the world is trying to leave no stone unturned to getting the maximum out of the athlete, you and I are still debating what food or what rasgulla or what beetroot I should be giving a kid or a child. But this is basic staple. This is what we need to do. So you can't change your genetics. You should do a nutrition gene test. You should do a fitness gene test. Learn what is your future. Then accordingly adapt your training, adapt your diet.
Right. Perfect. I think well said, Ryan. I think that's brilliant. What about vegan stuff and all, vegan diets?
Oh, that's a very nice one. The Game Changers is a documentary. If you have not watched it on Netflix, you should watch it. I've had everybody call me up, including Viraj and Trishul, and we have had these discussions. Even Sharmila, she was like, I watched the Game Changers, should I go vegan? And all of them did vegan, we did blood tests and stuff like that. Here's the thing. They all responded well in terms of the blood chemistry biomarkers of inflammation going down. Inflammation equals slower recovery. Low inflammation means faster recovery. Faster recovery means you can come back and train at 100% the next day. So recovery improves, but nutritional absorption of the B12 and magnesium dipped slightly. But Romit and all the golfers out there, becoming a vegan is not a nutritional problem. It is a psychological problem. I'm a Goan. I love my non-veg. I know vegan is really good, but I need my non-veg once or twice a week. So the pain of leaving behind non-veg, can it outweigh the benefit of a faster recovery? So every athlete has to experiment with their nutritionist. So they would come to me, hey, let's do a non-veg diet for 3 months. Let's look at before and after weights. Let's look at before and after B12 and magnesium levels. Let's look at the inflammation before and after. Let's look at your resting heart rate. Early morning, I'll take your resting heart rate every day. As soon as you open your eyes, has it gone down? Has it gone up? Lower resting heart rate equals to better recovery. Higher heart rate means you haven't recovered. So if somebody's heart rate has gone down because they have taken non-veg, okay, I got that data. 3 months later, we come on to a vegan diet. We check the same parameters, and on the 6th month, we compare. Hey, guess what? Vegan really works very good for me. Now I ask the athlete, Hey, Mr. Viraj, hey, Mr. Trishul, hey, Miss Sharmila, what would you like to do? I'd like to be vegan 80% of the time, but on the weekend, I'd like to have my burger. And I am okay with that. I'm okay with that. The reason being is, if you put an athlete into a straight jacket, at some point they will break. But at the same time, I don't want you to be at a rave party where you're all crazy and mental about whatever you want to eat and you're not worried about food because it doesn't equal to golfing performance. So you meet having a nutritionist on board, but also having a cheat meal, also having the flexibility of doing vegan, non-vegan. So I hope this gives a lot of insights to people listening in that, yes, veganism is good. Do I endorse it? I don't endorse veganism, vegetarian, non-vegetarian. I don't endorse. I believe in bio-individuality. Bio-individuality means I look at your genes, I look at your blood test, I look at your culture, I look at your thought process, I look at your training, I talk to your coach, I talk to your strength and conditioning guy. And in fact, in Viraj's case, we came to a conclusion as a team that we would like to continue a non-veg because his power and driving was much better when he was on non-veg. Fine, I got that input from the trainer, I got better power. Viraj, I got better data from recovery. So if your recovery is going bad, so you put recovery on one side versus the power to hit the ball. Which one do you want? I think I want to go with power. Boom. That's the decision we go ahead with.
Right. So there's a method to everything that's there, and whichever way it suits the athlete. Yeah. Does dairy product reduce height growth in children?
Good question. Yes and no. Why yes? All our cows are injected. I don't know about your city, Romit, but in my city in Bangalore, I see cows roaming on the road, sometimes eating garbage.
Yeah.
And I have very smart people in my apartment complex say, oh, we go to the local dairy and we get fresh milk for a kid. You buy the organic milk, which is coming from God knows where. That cow is eating plastic. Right? So the point over here is that plastic has got detrimental effect on the milk, number one. All the farmers, and I don't care what people say to me, farmers in India care two shits, excuse my language, about your health and my health. They will use any insecticide, any pesticide, and any injection to get maximized profit from the output. With due respect, they need to survive. Yes. You, me, the patient, the client, the player should have the awareness that is this milk organic? Is this milk A2? And should I be drinking milk? Because Ryan Fernando did my food sensitivity test and did my gene test. And both came back to say that it is good. No, it's not good to have branded milk. No, it's not good to have milk. No, it's good to have milk. All of this is there. It's bio-individual. For the girl child, I do the gene test, I do the food sensitivity test because the girl is getting affected because the injections given to the cow, it transmits into the milk and that's affecting the girl to have the puberty earlier. So our menstruation comes earlier, but we all know that height growth happens before menstruation. After menstruation, the height growth comes down. So what if I could delay my menstruation to 13 years of age, so I get height growth up to 13. But nowadays, girls are getting their menstruation at 9, so they're hitting the height growth over here at 9, and then it's flat out. So yes, milk is a culprit. Oh no, but Ryan sir, milk has calcium. Beta, calcium is found in dates, it's found in spinach. What do you think the cow eats? The cow eats grass. Where does the grass grow? It grows on the soil. So the cow eats the grass, which it eats and makes the milk, which means your calcium comes from the ground or from the vegetable or the grass. So you eat vegetables in copious amounts and you'll get enough of calcium. I'm not saying milk is bad. I give my son milk, but I've limited the milk now that he's 7 years of age. And his food sensitivity test recently came back saying that he's allergic to milk. So now I'm reducing the milk because I can't cold turkey pull him off milk because every day he cries, Papa, I want my milk. Papa, I want my milk. So I give him, I've gone now from 200 ml down to 100 ml. I dilute it with water. And so from that point of view, yes, Shabna, even for guys, I look at milk from a perspective. Can I do the food sensitivity test? Can I do the gene test? Can I get organic? If it's yes, can I give milk? Then I go and find out the best organic milk. And I try and get A2 milk, which is better for the Indian gene, which is the traditional desi cows. Is buffalo milk good? Yeah, buffalo milk is good if you're not allergic to buffalo milk, if you're not sensitive. Ryan, how do we know we're sensitive? Well, a food sensitivity test will tell whether you're allergic to milk.
What about packaged milk, which
Is
is
there
available?
sorry, somebody just said, is there a link between milk and prostate cancer?
Yeah.
Yes. In fact, my team is working currently on 4 active cases. I know this because Qua Nutrition not only does sports nutrition, we are one of India's best medical nutrition clinics. Stuff that people in the country don't handle, we handle. So what we do is I have a team of about 4 or 5, what I call as commandos. These commando dietitians are amazing. They are so freaking smart that they are able to research and find out and get to the bottom of what could be the nutritional trigger and what could be the nutritional healer. So in prostate, people who have inflamed prostate, this is for people above 40, especially males, dairy is out of the question. It should be banned.
Wow.
Is
And
it
not
okay if I
actual
don't like
dairy.
milk? I am not allergic, but I am insensitive. Is it okay if I don't like milk? I am not allergic. I, yeah, it's okay if you don't
She
like milk.
doesn't
We are the
like
only,
she doesn't like milk. Yeah. She
yeah.
doesn't
So the
like milk.
question is, we are the only animal that drinks milk of another species and continue to do it into adulthood. No other creature does it. So I think it's from thousands of years ago, farmers kept the cows to plow the fields, and then they had the milk. There was no fridge. They had the milk. There was no fridge those days. So what do? I made products, milk products. Now what do I do with a milk product? I'm an agriculturist. I'm a farmer from thousands of years ago. I will sell this. Now when I sell it, I have to have a marketing idea. The marketing idea is it's good for your health. And by the way, milk is a complete food. It has everything. It has carbs, fats, protein, everything. Milk and eggs are two complete foods. So as a nutritionist, I should be swayed by milk. I'm not, because I believe the Indians are suffering a lot with their cholesterol in older ages because of milk, because your parents in your young age told you milk is very good. So if you don't like milk, stop drinking milk. Does
We
growth
might
stop
get
after
cut off,
21?
Ryan. Ryan, we might get cut off in about 2 minutes. We'll just rejoin the session then. I'll just redo the live and you can rejoin the session.
Okay, so let's ask everyone if they want to come back, and if they want to come back, say yes, and we'll come back with another question on winning the book. So everyone, quickly type up. Do you want to come back? Do you want me to come back, or can I enjoy my tea and my chakli? Can I eat it and say bye bye to all of you? So if you want me to come back, let's say yes, 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 yes. How quickly then I'll come? There are some questions that are coming in. I just wanted to
Yeah.
keep it for the next session.
Or if we miss out any questions, just redo the questions again. Whoever's questions we miss out, just repost the
Can
question
a
the moment the session starts again. Because it cuts off
can
in
a
an
kid
hour.
with brain damage be improved with nutrition? Oh, that's a good one. I'd love to answer
Yeah, I
that.
saw that. Yeah. So in
Okay,
fact, what I'll do is
let's
I'll end the session right now and start the new session immediately. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to
thank you,
end
sir.
this. I'm
Thank
going
you,
to
sir.
redo this. Okay. Come back. See you on the other side.
Please invite your family and friends to win the book.
There you go.
Okay, we're back.
Yeah. Just give it 2 minutes.
So there was a night.
Yeah. We'll
Yeah,
just give
we're
it
at 44. 44,
Yeah.
so let's give it a couple of minutes. So that's my book, Eating Secrets of Champions. So Romit, why I wrote this book is a lot of people can't afford to come for my nutrition session at 16,500 at the clinic. So I
Right.
thought to myself, am I missing out on people who need to have a little bit of exposure and understand sports nutrition a little from a layman perspective, easy to understand? I wanted the athlete to read this so that a parent would be thinking, hey, should I spend this money on my kid because I don't know if they'll follow a sports nutrition plan? Will they listen to the nutritionist? So I wrote this book and I priced it at 999 rupees. It's beautifully bound and it's very, very simple. So I'll just pick up a page over here and there's some basic thumb rules for an athlete, okay? All players practice early morning. Therefore, they need to rise early and consume a full bowl of porridge or have a mini breakfast to ensure that carbs get recharged in the blood to start their training. Second, during practice, develop the practice of hydrating. The brain is made up of 76% water. Hydration ensures mental focus. If this hydration solution has a 6 to 8% glucose solution, the absorption of water into the body is higher, ensuring longer focused sessions. So that's just point two, and then there's
Wow.
point three and four. So I've written what I've learned over the years and put it into this book. I've self-published it because I didn't have the time or patience. I'm writing two more books in the future. One's with Amazon, but the reason I self-published this book is because if the publisher holds the rights to the book, I can't decide how to market the book. So my idea is I want the book available only on my website. I want to know who's buying it because I want to be able to reach out to you and say that, hey, this is step one. Would you like to start step two? But let's ask the question, and the question would be, which vegetarian food has vitamin B12 in it? Which vegetarian food has vitamin B12 in it? This is to win this book. Romit sir will send this book to you. This is the Eating Secrets of Champion, my book, and I'm giving it away to somebody who will answer this question. Which vegetarian food has vitamin B12 in it?
Flex, did you say? First question answer was flex. Second one, pumpkin. Then spinach. Then flax again.
Okay.
Egg.
Let it come. So you can see I'm not jumping at the answer because the answer is not there. Somebody said eggs. Eggs is not vegetarian. Because if eggs was vegetarian, Sushil Kumar would have eaten eggs. Sushil Kumar is the Olympic wrestler I worked with, and he says, "Nee, Doctor Sahab, मैं अंडा नहीं खा सकता हूँ."
Dairy, eggs, lentils, mushroom, spinach.
Shiitake mushroom, maybe little, but it's not the right answer. Here's the thing, okay, everyone. Vegetarians are born on. Yeah, repeat the question. Which vegetarian food would have B12 in it? We have to understand, vegetarians are at a back foot. They are at a challenge. They are at a disability because all your non-veg foods contain vitamin B12. Only your added vitamin B12 in fortified cereals and other foods contain B12. Naturally in nature, vitamin B12 is not available. Your body's stomach can produce, your gut system, sorry, not stomach, your gut system can produce vitamin B12, but most of us eat the wrong junk food, so our B12 production is low. The vegetarian food that does contain B12 starts with Y, E, A, S, T. So something called yeast contains vegetarian B12.
Tejas answered that nutritional yeast, huh?
Yes. So if Tejas answered that, then Tejas, congratulations. Romit, please verify this later, and then Tejas gets the book if you would.
Right.
Okay, you get a product called Marmite, and that teaspoon would contain some B12. But my caution to all the vegetarian golfers: one, always do a blood test. Do your nutrition gene test to figure out your gene marker for B12, because for the rest of your life, if your B12 is low, you need to pop a supplement, and that will keep you living into 90s and 100s without any broken bones, without any diabetes, without low energy levels. And people who have low B12 levels are constantly motile and fat because the energy to expend energy is not there, and therefore they're not slim and trim. So everybody should do a blood test to check their vitamin B12 levels. So let's go forward with the questions. Romit, you have an amazing audience. You're so active, and I really, really like this. People are asking questions. In fact, there are a lot of non-golfers asking non-golfing questions. There was a question by a lady who said, if a child has brain damage,
that's right,
will nutrition help? This is very close to my heart. I work as a pediatric nutritionist. I work with autism. I work with Down. And I work with dysphagia, which is children who are challenged at the mental level. What's amazing is that I always tell parents, fine, the brain is challenged. Do you want to treat this child as an aam aadmi child and continue to give nutrition as per your love and culture? Or what if you knew what markers were low, what markers need to be replenished higher, and put in scientific collaboration of nutrition into this child who is on a back foot because of a genetic malfunction or because of an occupational hazard of having an accident or whatever it is. So I always argue. I still remember there's this one neighbor of mine. I can't say where and how because then the person people will know. But this neighbor of mine, his daughter is autistic, and the guy is a very rich guy. And I explained to him for 45 minutes how it would work. And his wife is like, no, but it's just too much of effort to do a nutrition plan. Till today, I feel like taking this book and beating those parents. The reason being is if they work on the scientific aspect of their nutrition, it will change brain performance. You don't believe me? Google up Dr. Daniel Amen. He's the world's leading renowned guy on neurophysiology or whatever it's called. Dr. Daniel Amen. I follow him. He's my guru. I learned and trained under him under my recent course in New York. Now here's the thing. He does a brain scan and he categorically states that nutrition improves damaged brain in old people. Nutrition improves even in athletes' recovery in the brain. So I've had athletes, when I've improved their brain power, they say, Ryan, we feel fresh, we feel focused. You're not able to point it out because you don't have a tangible scale. But you have this thing where you judge your reflexes. I've had athletes improve their timings by microseconds. And so they attribute it to better training, better Zumba, Boomba, Pilates, all of that stuff. No, dude, it's the brain. And the nutrition that goes in and feeds your brain. So it's very, very important. I had a 6-year-old girl who was autistic. She never spoke her entire life. 6 weeks. I'm getting goosebumps telling you this. 6 weeks. Whenever I tell this story, I get goosebumps. 6 weeks on a diet with me. She said, Dada, for the first time in her life.
Wow.
And today that girl is in UK. She's going to school and her father is like so happy that, he was working for ITC, and I got to tell you, ITC is an amazing company. I had asked for a blood test that costed 95,000 rupees, and they paid for that blood test, which went all the way to America. It's called the Nutrival blood test, and they discovered what all needs to be done. So over the years, we have had people, and I talk very passionately because you know what, sports is okay. You don't come to me, it's okay. I don't care. Somebody or the other will come to me. But when a child is damaged because of an accident or genetics, the parent has to move heaven and earth and put that child on a nutrition plan because nutrition can make a difference. Okay, let's go forward. Wow, so many questions.
Huge question. Lots of questions. Very good. Fantastic.
What's your take on eggs in the diet? I love eggs. I buy cage-free, range-free eggs because the chickens are kept in the cage all their life. Their beaks are pecked off. Do you know they cut off the beak so they can't poke the other chicken and kill the other chicken and get disease, and they can eat faster, blah, 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 all of that stuff. So they can't pick and choose their food. So the moment the cut beak goes in, they're supposed to eat all of that. So I buy only range-free eggs. I got to publicly declare, I work with a brand called Happy Hens because I thought, hey, listen, I'm not going to change being a non-vegetarian, so I can't join PETA. Maybe 5 years later, I might join PETA, which is Prevention for Cruelty to Animals. But I thought, hey, can I make my eggs a little better? So I work with Happy Hens, and they have these hens that are so beautiful. They roam around, and a normal cage-free hen, a happy hen, will lay something like only 56 eggs in a year. Your commercial hen lays more than 210 eggs a year.
Wow.
So imagine the output. You're only getting stressed eggs, whereas the cage-free eggs are unstressed, but they're $25 a pop. So people will ask me, Ryan, why would you recommend eggs at $25 a pop? Number one, they give Ayurvedic mixture to the chicken and egg, so there's no antibiotics. Number two, there is no hormonal injection, so my girl child is not getting eggs, which is hormonal. What's more important? My Gucci jacket, my Callaway clubs, my Burberry trousers, my 2 cars sitting in my garage, my Honda bike sitting in the basement, or a 25 rupee that goes into my body because this is the only Ferrari that I own. Health is the new wealth. After the coronavirus, health is the only wealth. For the athlete, all the youngsters, when you go forward, your Gap trousers, your Levi's, your Applegrom Finch or Calvin Klein are all useless. Your health is the only thing that will make you enjoy life for the next 50 years. Think about that. That's very, very important. I'm not saying no to eggs. Go organic on eggs. Hey, by the way, some of my clients, when they do the food sensitivity test, they're allergic to eggs. So then I remove eggs. My daughter, Rakesh says, my daughter is 10.5 years old, very active, not losing weight. Please advise what should I do. Rakesh, children will be fat or thin based on the genetics. That's your wife and you. If you all are mota, child might be mota. If you have forced fed your child between the ages of 1 and 3 and made your child fat, then your child has a significant higher number of fat cells. So do not worry, because horizontal manipulation of weight, that is losing of fat, is possible even into later years. At this point, do not put your daughter on a diet yourself. Put her on a nutrition plan which allows her to eat correctly so she grows tall, and never mind about the weight. We will do the necessary things. I've seen girls that eat between the ages of 10 and 15, play good sports, eat correctly, they lose weight. Girls that go on a diet and play sport, they actually gain weight because they're doing that no eating diet. And girls are very, very conscious today. I have 5th standard grade students. I'm assuming your child is in 5th standard. I have 4th standard, 5th standard girls. They will not say the parent goes to the bathroom for a leak and the girl say, Ryan sir, don't tell my mama, but when she gives me dinner and all, no, I don't eat it. When she's not looking, I throw it in the dustbin. I'm like, what? Please, Ryan sir, uncle, don't tell. I said, okay, why are you not eating? No, because everyone's teasing me in the class because I've become fat. So I said, why are you throwing away the food? No, if I eat less food, I'll become slimmer. Then I have to explain to the child, when you throw away food, the friend of fat is cortisol. Mr. Cortisol comes out and says, Beta, no problem. Next meal, breakfast, now whatever you give me, I'll store everything as fat. Okay, you don't want to eat breakfast, don't eat breakfast. When you eat lunch, when you eat the chips, when you eat anything, I'll take all of that. I won't give it as protein and carbs. I'll store everything as fat because right now beta is starvation condition. So this is what happens.
Right.
Should players consume dairy products whilst playing around? If you're not allergic to milk, absolutely fine. Buttermilk, lassi, mango lassi. If you're not allergic to dairy products, thumbs up. How do you know you're allergic? Drink milk for 3 days. Every morning, get up, check if you have to blow your nose and there's any white mucus. Then stop drinking milk for 1 week and then blow your nose and check if there's white mucus. If the white mucus disappears, then you have a lesser, that means you have no food sensitivity to milk. But if white mucus comes, like if I drink milk today, even 2 teaspoons Romit, tomorrow morning I have to blow my nose because there's mucus. So there's a khujli, mucus is like the body throwing out mucus to protect the body against this jagara that's happening inside.
Right. Nutrition for a heart transplanted 40+ golfer.
So I work with Dr. Ashish Contractor. Please Google up Ashish Contractor. He's written a book called The Heart Truth. Heart as in heart, Heart Truth. Buy that book. It's an amazing book for people who have undergone bypass. My clinic specializes in what is known as a heart rehabilitation program for fitness freaks. So we work with a group in Bombay that's crazy about running after heart attacks and stents and bypass and all. So we do a specialized nutrition program where the genetics and the nutrition is planned. So whoever has asked this question, I'm happy to work with them and help them out. The key thing to realize is that, Mr. Nanda. So key thing to realize is please don't do dairy. It adds to your cholesterol. Please look at nutritional deficiencies. Please look at your blood test for homocysteine, C-reactive protein, and look at your choline receptor. Choline is choline. Choline, if it is low in your genetics, you will be susceptible to heart disease. So if we can control all of these things in the nutrition and supplement in the diet, I believe that we reduce the risk element of the diet being the culprit for causing the next heart attack.
Wow.
Does nutrition plan affect in your mindset or approach while playing in tournaments? So Sukambir Singh, very important question. Sukambir. Don't eat for one day and go and play a golf tournament. Will it affect your mood? Will you be cranky? Will you be tired? Will you be drained? Will you be hungry? Yes? Yes, we will be hungry. Now, Sukhbir, eat 3 biryanis and go and try and play golf. Will it affect you? Will it affect your brain? Will it affect your mindset? Yes. So excess of food or lack of food is going to affect brain performance. Somewhere in between, Ryan Fernando discovers the nutritional deficiencies, the kunjalis, and the perfect harmony in your brain. A tip, free tip to all Romit Sir's followers. Till, sesame seeds, till. I give my athletes till laddu because till is known to reduce blood pressure. Magnesium is a salt. Magnesium calms the brain, calms the muscles. These are two things that can highly influence a person. And above all, don't take too much of sugar. All sugar causes the brain to go and get crazy, and you don't have a calm approach. There are other secret nutrients that I use, but I don't want to give away free tips. But let me ask a question. Let me ask a question, which is, can you name 3 foods which have very high omega-3 content? So omega-3 is a very good oil. It's a PUFA oil. It's a polyunsaturated fat. It's found in nature in a lot of foods. But omega-3 is known to help in the DHA. DHA is a type of oil of omega-3 which is used in brain performance, brain firing, and brain synthesis. So can you name 3 foods? Parek was very fast, but I want 3 foods all in the same line. I want 3 foods that are omega-3. Romit, which gift is this? This would be the 4th one?
Fourth one, yeah, fourth one.
Fourth one. Okay, this is the 4th one. The 5th question you get to ask, Romit.
Okay. The other thing is, Ryan,
So let's
also,
see. Wow. And yes, Niti was right. Niti was, wow, this is really going fast. Walnut, fish, and mackerel is also correct. Flaxseed and fish. I think in my phone, Sanvi has given the first answer of walnut, fish, and mackerel. I'm assuming Sanvi is a dietitian or a nutritionist because very few people write mackerel, or you watched one of my previous videos. Romit, who do you have getting the first answer?
I got Sanvi saying on my thing is walnut fish.
In mine also, she's the first, and she's given 3 options. So I think she's the first one to write it. So Sanvi, hey, congratulations, you win my book.
Yeah, that's right.
Salmon is a good source of omega-3, but mackerel is bangda in India. It's a very, very, very good source of omega-3. Walnuts, fish. Nobody has written chia seeds. Chia seeds, yes, Niti has written chia seeds. Chia seeds really works. Krill oil also works. Cod liver oil also has it. You know what? Cod liver oil is a very small quantity, but it is good. Sardines, yes, smaller fish, sardines, anchovies, cod liver oil, yes, correct. Caviar, sardines, oh wow, Apriyama is being very, very fish posh. Caviar definitely does contain omega-3. Somebody is asking foods that promote high growth hormone and testosterone in the body. No, I'm not doing any bodybuilding questions over here. Sorry, Baya. Yeah, that's it. Let's go to the questions that are left, and we've had a great session today. Ideal time for food before you.
Yeah, one small thing that's been coming up, a lot of people asking about protein and protein supplements for mid-age teenagers. Golfers basically asking the question that what is the requirement?
There's a huge thing that I need to take a protein supplement. First thing, if you're a vegetarian, maybe yes. If you have to take the protein supplement, what are the protein supplements available? Well, you have commercial products like Protein X. You have generic products like whey protein, which are available in hundreds of brands. I do write a whey protein for my athletes. I do write casein protein. Casein is a paneer protein. I do write hemp protein. Hemp is a type of vegetarian. Green pea protein, vegan protein, brown rice protein, cranberry protein. I also prescribe glutamine. I also prescribe branched chain amino acids. But the question is, can I prescribe it to everyone? Have you done a liver and a kidney test to check whether I should give you this extra amount? You know, Robit, in my career, I have to tell 4 parents. that they have to remove their children out of sport because their body is not capable of taking the normal load of training. Because when you take the normal load of training, you have to eat twice or thrice times the quantity, and your liver is not able to digest that. Your liver is sensitive, your kidney is sensitive. So I always tell parents, whenever you try a protein supplement, it's about, is my diet capable of giving it? Have I planned my diet? If yes, you don't need a protein supplement. If no, then have I checked my liver and kidney enzymes and can I take this? Have I done a food allergy test? If yes to both of these, okay, then I can take XYZ protein. Then what is the quantity you need to take and when is the best time? Normally, I prescribe protein supplements post-workout as the best time, because after a tiring day of workout or a tiring 9 holes or 18 holes or practice or driving 300 balls, or you're on the course for 5 hours or you've gone to the gym for 2 hours, giving a 20 to 30 grams of protein for an adult is perfect. For a child, it might be as little as 1 teaspoon. So we can definitely explore it. I am for it, but do not give proteins with sweeteners of aspartame and asulfamine in them. Children under the age of 14 need to be given organic whey protein, grass-fed whey protein, minus commercial sweeteners. The only sweetener you can give a child is stevia. Is Amway protein good? I hope you got my answer. Amway protein is not. I worked for the company. I did work for my first job was at Amway Nutralite. I was the guy that brought Nutralite to India and trained people. I was one of the first 4 employees at Nutralite in India. Their products are really good, but the protein they launched is absolute. I won't say anything more. It's got wheat protein in it. That's why I don't like it. And I believe 90% of Indians are actually allergic. You heard me here. Romit, remember me 10 years down the line. I have told people that 90% of Indians are allergic to wheat. There will come a day when doctors will start saying this in 2030. Don't eat wheat. You are hyper allergic to it. Don't eat wheat. It's causing a lot of your thyroid, diabetes, cancer, and all of that stuff.
Let me tell you a small thing. I've been diabetic since 2011. I gave up wheat in September. My diabetic levels are normal for the last 5 months.
I love you. I love you. I love you so much.
Medication. I don't have medication, but my diabetic levels are like 90, 95. I'm like,
I have been shouting this from the treetops. I'm writing a book next year called The Wheat, the Real Truth. And I'm so happy that you did that. And I hope people are watching this. Wheat has got the highest glycemic index. Wheat goes and attacks your pancreas and makes your insulin resistant. Wheat goes and destroys your thyroid. As much as possible, we should not eat wheat. And even when I do the DNA test and it comes back that you're not sensitive to wheat, I've not touched wheat in the last 5 years. My DNA says I'm sensitive. So I'm so happy to hear that from you. I'm going to get back to this video a little later. I'm going to rewind it. I'm going to cut out what you just said and I'm going to send it to my dad, because my dad's 73. And I have been trying for the last 20 years to tell my father, please stop eating wheat and bread, and he just doesn't listen.
I swear by it. I tell everybody that I teach to stop wheat straight away, and dairy. For me, I give up dairy as well, and it's done a lot of good for me. Yeah,
wonderful,
this
wonderful.
Came from within, but this was great. Yeah. Okay, so anything else that you would like to touch on? And that's the last question that we'll take. And someone asked, what's the alternative to wheat then? Well, there's a lot of other stuff out there.
You can do jowar, you can do bajra, you can do ragi, you can do all the millets, you can do corn. I go to the restaurant, I'm gluten intolerant. Bhaiya, mere ko besan ka roti chahiye, akki roti, which is rice roti. Bhai, jowar ka roti bana sakta hai. Maida uske andar mat dalo. Don't put maida in my roti, please. I can do a pasta. I ask for a gluten-free pasta. I am very finicky when I go to my restaurants. I call up in advance, and before booking, I said, hi, can I speak to your chef? Like, why you want to make a reservation? I said, yes, I'm coming. But I want to know if you have gluten-free pasta or gluten-free roti. If you have, I'm coming to your restaurant. Otherwise, I'm not coming to your restaurant. So I've gone to that level where I don't let my taste buds pull me to a restaurant. I let my mind pull me to a restaurant. And by the way, Romit, I have begun to make friends with chefs in restaurants. And I'm telling you, when the chef knows I'm coming, it's not because I'm Ryan Fernando. We just have very entertaining conversation. I say, you know what? I'm going to come back to a restaurant because I love you, man. And every time I get the chef's number, I call the chef, I get a dish from the menu, but it's created with love.
Super.
Because
Fantastic.
we are forgetting that that person preparing your food is fighting with his boss, fought with his colleagues. He might be having the worst possible thing. अरे यार मेरे को घर जाने का क्रिकेट मैच देखा है साला इसका जो पास्ता बनाने का है बोला है gluten free वाली साला let's do all. The animosity in our country of unpad people is so bad. We are not taught to live in gratitude. We are not taught to live in thankfulness. We are always taught कि दूसरा आदमी को मारने का है. And this occurs in all strata of our society. When we start getting more grateful as a country, as an individual, people will then understand the power of how the food comes. I believe in our country we have a lot of disease because the farmers always thinking, will this crop, after this crop, do I have to commit suicide? What if he said, wow, this crop is going out and feeding so many people. What if we reinvested from defense back into food and agriculture? I'm just thinking aloud. We have now understood that our wealth means nothing. We have to invest in our agriculture, our farmers, our doctors, and our thought process that let me not buy that Burberry trouser for 40,000 rupees. Let me buy a simple Peter England for 800 rupees. But when I buy my tomato and I buy my eggs and I buy my rice, it's the most expensive on the planet. This is what every golfer should do, my dear friend.
Super stuff, Ryan. I think thank you so much for everything today. I think it's straight from the heart and it's full of passion. I loved what you did from the time you were in Bombay and you gave me your first call for those sachets which you sent to me. That was years back. And
that was years back.
yeah, I know.
I want to share something about that sachets. Yeah. I worked for nutrition companies, and the reason I left that company is not that I had any issues, but every time I went around and met everyone and said, hey, this is Body Fuels Muscle Max, try it, Body Fuels Fitness, it's really good and all. And I was the guy that designed those products, and I was very passionate that this will really help a person. But every time people say, bhai bolo dal chawal roti kaisa lene ka? Bhai bolo dal chawal roti kaise lene ka? So I went around India and everyone said, can you tell me about my diet? So because of that stint with Body Fuels, I thought to myself, let me start Qua Nutrition, which is a pure nutrition guidance company. So let me tell you something. I don't have any product in my company. I choose the best product in the world. And like somebody asked, which is the best protein? Yeah. I'm not going to tell you the best protein because I need to analyze you and then tell you which protein agrees for you. So that's how we work. And where did I meet you? I met you in Calcutta.
Yeah, that's right. Calcutta. No, Delhi also. I met you in Delhi as well. Yeah, I was in Delhi already in 1999. Yeah, 99, 2000. I think sometime then.
Yes.
Just later, yeah.
That was a long time ago.
Bombay. I think you were in Bombay, or Bombay or Bangalore.
Yes, I was. So it's amazing. So we meet 20 years later, and this is like, this is what we need to do. We need to educate people just to eat scientifically.
Super, Ryan. Thank you so much. That last question is still coming from you. You're the expert here. My job is to get people like you, and I've always worked my students with you, and that's where I figure. But I have to get them to the expert.
Okay, the last question coming to everyone is, what is my website? What is my website name for my company? Not my Ryan Fernando website. What is the name of my company's website? Let's see if you can tell me what's my website name. And so Romit, I'm going to ask Devika on my team to get the books across to you once the lockdown is lifted. Super. And we can do it.
Devika still at this Defense Colony area? Right?
No, Devika sits out of the Bangalore office. She's headed in the Bangalore office. So she controls the entire national tie-ups, operations, everything. What I wanted to say to you is, those of your fans and followers who want to take a nutrition plan. So let's say somebody's son wants to take a nutrition plan. If a parent takes a nutrition plan and they're a Romit Bose follower, the parent will get a 50% discount on his or her plan.
Super, man. Super. Love you. Cheers, mate.
Okay. Fantastic. So did anyone answer it? Who won it?
No, I didn't see that because I was looking at you. Let's go in front. At Fernando.in, Qua Nutrition, quanutrition.com, qua.com.
I've got Anmol, I think. I got Anmol Arora at 149.
What did he say?
quanutrition.com is the right address.
Yeah, I'll just find out which one, who said it.
You'll find out, and And thank you so much for hosting me. All 95 of you have a great Saturday, Sunday ahead. God bless you. Don't go to sleep late. Don't go to sleep late. Sleep early. And for all of you who are doing a drink, I'm having a drink, but I've reduced my alcohol from a 30 ml down to a 15 ml. Just because I don't dance after that. There's nothing open where you can dance. So please reduce your portion on your alcohol. Everyone, I don't
But
know how you're going
guys,
to do it.
yeah, guys, just reach out to whoever you can at this time, this crucial time. All the guys who can't really meet their expectations and feed their family and take care of themselves at this time, please reach out to them. They help us at all times throughout the year while we play golf and in the clubs, and they wait our tables, they polish the shoes, they clean the golf course, they cut the grass. Just reach out to them and help them out in any way you can. There's a bunch of kids doing it out of Bombay as well. Help them out. They're called the real heroes of BPGC. If you want, you can get in touch with me. You can get in touch with Ryan. We'll give you great opportunities of helping people out. But thank you so much for being here. And thank you, Ryan, for being so passionate and from the heart. Thank you, mate. Love
Thank
it.
you.
Okay.
Thank you. God
Bye.
bless you, Romit.
Bye.
Thank you for all you're
Okay.
doing. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Bye.